And it was decent. Now, I have a lot of VGC content that I want to showcase to you guys in the future, but I got to take care of all the matches that took place during the PAX VGC tournament. Now, this is round 4, I want to say. I think this is the semifinals of the brackets, and I'm up against my friend Juan. So, he's going to start things off with his Heatran as well as Tyranitar. So, I'm going to lead off with my Mega Metagross as well as Breloom. Going to protect with it because there's 2 threats on the field, especially after Tyranitar crunches me. At the time, I didn't even know it was Choice Scarf. I'm like, alright, he just might have just, you know, targeted that. But then again, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to take that chance. I am going to switch to Sylveon because I could just Mach Punch the Heatran to it, KOing it, and I can actually go for a Hyper Voice, which would inflict super effective damage. Now, for him going for a Crunch again, that tells me that he is Choice. He wakes up the first turn and goes for the Heat Wave, knocking out Breloom, so that actually throws a wrench in what I wanted to do. So I kind of wanted to give him offensive pressure, trying to force him to switch out his Heatran. That doesn't take place. He goes for Flash Cannon, doesn't knock me out as I retaliate with the Hidden Power of Ground after setting up a Tailwind. So his Heatran's gonna die, but so does my Sylveon. So that's not very good. Not a very good way to start things off, actually. That's alright though. Well, it depends on whatever he brings in. That's actually okay. He's gonna bring in his Clefable. So now, instead of go for the Hammer Arm like I really want to, just for accuracy purposes, I go for Meteor Mash. But unfortunately for me, I do happen to miss. My Tailwind is up, so I do go first. And despite having a helping hand, Crunch is not going to be able to finish it off. So what I'm going to decide to do is, as opposed to attacking the Tyranitar, I am going to shift over my targets and go for Clefable, take a gamble that he would want to switch, which is exactly what he does. And he goes out into his Thundurus. So Thundurus being in play as a switch in, as opposed to just being initially in play, means that I won't get a Thunder Wave on the turn that really counts, which is this turn. So this turn, I'm like, even if he Thunder Waves me, the speed won't drop. So the Tailwind is still up. I'll still be able to go first, go for the Hammer Arm, knock out the Tyranitar, as well as go for a T-Bolt to get some damage inflicted onto the Thundurus. But the problem is that I get fully paralyzed that turn, and I'm not going to be able to knock it out, and that means that I lose this particular round. So especially to add insult to injury, my Tailwind peters out, and like 2 threats on the damn field, and that is it. Wow, so that is the first game. I gotta make up lost ground, and this is the secondary match right here. And I gotta make up lost ground, as I just said. I just repeated myself. So now he's gonna lead up with his Azumarill as well as the Thundurus. I see Thundurus. I gotta get that thing out the field right away. I don't want it inflicting any Thunder Waves, any taunts, man. I'm double targeting you. I hope you don't protect. And he goes for the taunt on the Breloom, which is perfect. As I go for the Rock Tomb, and it's just gonna bring it down to a point where his Citrus Berry is gonna activate. But that doesn't even matter because I do have the Zen Headbutt coming full throttle at you, and that means that Thundurus is out of the game. Oh my goodness. He is going to retaliate, however, with a knockoff, which means that my Mega Metagross won't be able to survive a Heat Wave coming from the Heatran. So I got to be really cautious about that. And I do want to save Mega Metagross for a little bit later on, because I still don't know what his 4th Pokemon is, and it turns out that it's a Venusaur. So thank the heavens that I did happen to switch out. I bought Jellicent. I was a little bit hesitant to bring in Jellicent because he does have Venusaur, he does have Thundurus, you know, but in this case scenario, it turns out that it's actually a good idea for me to bring in Jellicent, because I have to deal with the Heatran, and I have to get Heatran out of the way if I want to successfully deal with his Mega Venusaur. At least that's my thought process here. So now, after finding out the hard way that he can't put Zapdos to sleep with the Sleep Powder, he is going to target it with the Overheat. It does not knock it out, leaving me at 10 hit points. That is great, and to add insult to injury, my Cursed Body activates, disabling his Venusaur from going for the Giga Drain, and then I taunt it, so he can't even put me to sleep with Mega Venusaur. So I gotta take advantage of this opportunity right here. I'll go for the Recover because I want to save Jellicent for later on. Jellicent, in my opinion, is my key to knocking out Heatran. So now I bring in Mega Metagross. I go for the Protect because I figure that he's gonna want to probably protect with his Mega Venusaur, and then probably try to take me out with the Heatran to prevent my Mega Metagross from knocking out his Mega Venusaur, because the Mega Venusaur is very important to his party at this particular point in the game. So now I am just gonna go for the Meteor Mash as opposed to going for the Zen Headbutt. Oh, by the way, this match is making me really consider Iron Head over Meteor Mash, because I think the 30% chance of the flinch as well as 100% accurate move is very important in VGC Standard. This isn't exactly single, so me using Meteor Mash is just me reminiscent of my singles play that I've been just participating in for like the last couple of years. So I gotta really change that to Iron Head, because all these Meteor Mash misses are really getting on my nerves. So unfortunately for him, he does not have Sap Sipper, so that was actually a risk that I was willing to take to see if he had the Sap Sipper, but it does not turn out that way, as I'm actually able to put in his Azumaros asleep, which is great. It's also great that he does not have Aqua Jet, so Aqua Jet would have been a great move to have in this particular match, because it would have just been able to knock out my Mega Metagross, disabling that damage output right there, inflicting onto his Mega Venusaur. So I thought that he was just gonna probably want to switch out, so hence why I didn't double target the Mega Venusaur again. I go for the Meteor Mash, and that successfully hits and is able to actually take out the Azumarill. So now he brings back in his Heatran. I am just gonna go ahead and target that as I go for the Spore, and then go for the Zen Headbutt to knock out the Mega Venusaur, which is great. And I could just go for a Spore again on the Heatran, because I am faster than it, and I don't want my Mega Metagross missing the Hammer Arm, and I have to just rely on Breloom. So I put it to sleep just in case the Mach Punch and Hammer Arm combination does not connect, because Hammer Arm can actually miss. So that was the second game, and this is the last one here. Oh my gosh, my heart is beating, let me tell you. So this time around, he changes it up, as do I. I lead up with Hydreigon, which I haven't brought in I think this whole tournament. Like, this whole tournament, I have yet to use Hydreigon so far. So I do have it with Flash Cannon, so I am going to go for the Flash Cannon, because it inflicts super effective damage onto both Pokemon on the opposite side of the field. So now I go for that, and he shows me Helping Hand with the Ice Punch. So wow, I was expecting the crunch, because Mega Metagross, hello, you have Clefable. You can always deal with Hydreigon, since Hydreigon is both Dark and Dragon type with your Moonblast. But wow, holy crap, I guess that's also intended for my Breloom now that I think about it, because now I go for the Meteor Mash, which should have connected like the first game and completely knocked this Tyranitar out of the field. I could always deal with Clefable, barring the possibility of it having a Flamethrower or Fire Blast, but they don't really run that in VGC Standard. That's more of a single set. So now he shows me Heatran again. Heatran. I'm ready for you, man. But in Jellicent, because I knew you were going to bring him Heatran. So now he has Overheat, and he wants to destroy Mega Metagross, but unfortunately for him, I did switch out that turn onto my Jellicent, which is great. I go for the Thunderbolt, which inflicts some notable damage on the Clefable, which means that the next time I use Thunderbolt on the Clefable, it is gone, barring the possibility of him going for the Protect, and then me probably getting min damage on the next Thunderbolt. But then he shows me Thundurus, so wow, he goes for Protect, which means that his Clefable is there to live another turn. So I go for the Scald, and I inflict a burn, which is great. So that means that it has lesser probability of it, you know, surviving and stuff like that, because he does have Citrus Berry as opposed to having like leftovers. So he can't really nullify the damage forever. Sandstorm is in play also, so he takes 13 as well as 6% from every turn that he stays in with his Thunderous. So now he goes for a Thunderbolt, and I just go for my Thunderbolt myself, because I can't stand Thunderous and I need Thunderous out of the way. So now Clefable is in here with Heatran, so I am just gonna go ahead and probably target the target the Clefable, because I need Clefable out of the way. So I go for the Protect, and then afterwards I go for, wow, he shows me Heat Wave, trying to knock out Mega Metagross. I see you, but before I knock him out, I'm just gonna go and show him Tailwind, because I want my Mega Metagross to be a little bit faster, but not now. I'll go for the Jellicent, because I want him to have his Heat Wave disabled. Maybe there's a possibility that his Heat Wave might be disabled if I bring in the Jellicent. Plus, that might add a little bit of pressure to his Heatran to go for the Protect. So now, his Clefable is actually at an amount of HP where he can survive, and he does survive. Oh man, that's a bummer. So now he shows me Heat Wave, and that's actually being able to knock out my Zapdos, which means that my Mega Metagross is in range of Heatran being able to inflict super effective damage. So that means that I actually need to take out the Clefable and have Jellicent at a high amount of HP. So that's mainly my priority. I could always knock out the Clefable, barring the possibility of it having like soft boil, so that'll actually make it a hard game to play around. So now I'll go for the Skull on the Clefable, because I need Clefable out of the way, because it has Friend Guard, it has all these shenanigans and stuff like that. So he goes for a nice little Helping Hand, shows me Heat Wave, which is able to knock out Mega Metagross, which I tried to go for a secondary Protect, but that didn't work out pretty well. So now I knock out the Clefable, disabling the Friend Guard, which means I will take some more damage from my Scald attacks. He goes for a Flash Cannon in an attempt to knock down my special defense, but in my opinion, I think he should have actually went for the Overheat, because I wasn't exactly sure at that particular amount of HP if I was able to live an Overheat coming from a Heatran. So now I go for another Recover as he goes for Protect again, and he's just going to show me Overheat right now, which means that his special attack is going to drop, and it's a Jellicent, and plus I'm just going to be able to Skull, which means that I win this game. Holy crap! That was nuts. So I definitely did have a lot of fun. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like. If you guys want to see more content like this in the future, please subscribe to me. It's awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Peace What you doing?